Hi, my name is Pär Brask and I'm one of the senior guys at the Morakniv factory.
Hi there, I'm Eriksson. I'm also a senior product specialist at Morakniv. We are celebrating our 130 years anniversary and are here today to answer some of the questions from our fans throughout the world. Shall I start with my first question?
Why not?
What year did Morakniv start?
It actually started in 1891 as an industrial enterprise. So that's why we're 130 now.
Yeah, there have been knives made in this area for many hundred years, but the first factory started 1891. There have been 15 to 20 different knife manufacturers in Mora over the years, and we have the DNA from 4 of them. KJ Eriksson, Frost, Carl Andersson and FM Mattsson. Okay, your turn.
You want me to start to ask you some questions?
Yeah.
So how are you related to the founders of Morakniv?
My grandfather, Krong Johan Eriksson, known as KJ, founded one of the knife companies in 1912. The company that later on bought 3 of the local competitors, and today is Morakniv. And you?
I'm the great grandson of Erik Frost, actually. So I have the DNA for quite a long time.
Yeah. Which vintage Morakniv had the best overall steel quality? Carl Andersson, Bröderna Jönsson, FM Mattsson, KJ, or who?
I would say that when it comes to the steel, it's basically the same steel in all the Mora knives from start. So there's no difference except for the heat treatment. There might be differences because that's the most crucial part of the manufacturing. So
Yeah, and that goes for today as well. Knife makers all over the world could buy the same steel as we do, but it all comes down in how to manage to get the best out of the steel when it comes to grinding and heat treatment. That's the trick, and we have all our heat treatment and grinding in-house in our factory in Mora.
Okay, I'm a newbie. How to take care of the carbon steel?
Well, the carbon steel will corrode if exposed to moisture and water. The main thing is to keep in mind to keep it clean and dry and clean it off and oil it after use in moisture environment. And some put on a forced patina. It's nothing wrong with if the mirror finish goes away and it gets other gray shade. That's quite all right.
You get a dull gray shade, and that actually protects a little bit against corrosion as well.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing to do. But keep in mind to even oil the handles a little bit if you have the bare handles without color. That's good for you to know.
I would also recommend, if you get some corrosion on the blade, use a soft sanding block to clean it off. It's quite easy. It's like a razor with some abrasive in it. A soft sanding block is very good to use for cleaning a knife that has started to rust. Per, what do you think is the best knife for construction work?
Well, depends on what you're aiming at, because construction work, it's a lot of different moves around it. So I couldn't say. We have a lot of different models.
Yeah, we have all these different craft models as there are so many different tasks. So we have different blade models, especially for different tasks.
And environments.
Yeah, like chisel knife, robust knife, flex knife, etc.
Who designed the first woodcarving 106 knife and when?
I think I put that question back to you, Pär, because it comes from the Frost
Yes, it
factory.
does. I think it was originally designed somewhere around the 1950s, the woodcarving knives, and it looked a bit different at that time. It was a thin blade already, but not as pointed as today. I made some redesign on that knife around in the 80s, so it became what it is today, actually. The name of the designer I don't know at that time, because there were a lot of people involved in stuff.
But the name of the redesigner is Pär Brask. How come you do not make any folding knives?
Well, our basically setup is not made for making folding knives, and folding knives is a non-working object in northern Scandinavia. I would say that it's too weak for the use that has been around these forest areas.
Yes, and I can mention that every 5th or 10th year there comes a question to look into if we should start making folding knives. And the last time that question was up, and we once again made the decision to not make any folding knives. That ended in the fixed blade pocket knife that we know as Eldris today.
Exactly.
Still a pocket knife.
Still a pocket knife. Name some of your earlier positions in the company before being product specialist.
I am being the young one here. I started at the stamping department, stamping blade blanks, and I think I've been almost everywhere in the factory except in the grinding, and since 15-20 years I've been in the marketing sales department, so I know most of what's done in the knife.
Yeah.
And you?
It's the same here. I've been working here, it's my 50th year this year, and I've been working with almost everything from wooden handles to and I've been doing a lot of research within hardening and heat treatment of blades. I've been doing making tools for the production. I've been in marketing might be a little different way, but especially for the meat industry knives. But that's the basic base of all hardening history, because that's very important. So I've been also developing the hardening process for a lot of stuff.
Yes, you got to know what you're dealing with. When you have the steel, you must get the right quality. You have to heat treat it the right way, and that goes for hardening, maybe sub-zero treatment and annealing, and then to grind it without overheating it.
Yeah, there's a lot of steps that can go wrong in the production.
Okay, what was your first knife?
Oh, that's a tricky question. I took everything that was at home, or probably it was a normal Mora knife, what we would call a Mora knife.
Yeah.
I guess you could look at that one, the classic one, a smaller one probably, or a whittling knife or a Sloyd knife.
Yeah, me and Pär had a discussion here about our first knives, and we can't remember because it's been so natural when we grew up that there has always been knives around. It's
hard to tell.
It's so early, so I cannot remember.
Yeah, it was at least 50 years ago.
Yes,
since I
yes. Okay, you're next.
Yeah, here comes another question. You mentioned it before. Best way to restore a neglected Mora knife?
Okay, yes. the soft sanding block is what I usually recommend people to get. You can order it on the web, like eBay or similar.
Yeah, but always keep in mind to oil the blades,
Yeah.
especially the carbon steel
Yeah.
blades. Otherwise, you will get corrosion.
I would
Take care.
also say that I get a lot of questions regarding what the right angle to grind the knife. And I would say we have a factory set that probably suits 95% of the users, but you're always free to adapt your own knife to what best suits your purposes that you intend to use the knife for. So there is no right or wrong angle. It depends on what you're going to use it for.
If you use it for wood carving, for instance, we normally say around 25 degrees, somewhere there. If you go into harder wood, you need to step up the angle.
Yes. How many knives do you own, Pär?
Well, I haven't counted yet. There's a heap of them at home, but most of them are historical stuff, and so there are some hundreds.
I would personally say that it's far beyond 1,000, but it's not 10,000 knives. That's as accurate as I can get. I have loads.
There's a new question here. Which of your own knives has most emotional value to you? Do you have any preferred knife?
I think I would go for the classic ones, and especially the smaller pen knives. This is made to our 130 years anniversary,
Yeah.
but I think this is this is like a jewelry to me.
That's
it's
original Mora.
Yeah, and it's small and it's made for kids' hands. It was meant for when you were 7 years old and started school. This was what you had to sharpen your pencil. So this is the first proof of adultness that you got back in those days.
Yeah, that's good.
I think it's a wonderful little piece.
My personal ones are the wheat unders knives. Yeah,
Those are nice.
those are nice, but they are very scarce. You don't find them
No.
today. I have 3 of my own. If you had to choose just one Mora knife, what would the choice be? That's probably for use, I guess.
Yeah, and that has got to do with what I usually do with knives. I would say I would go for a Mora 2000 or a Canspool. I like the stainless steel. I probably would go for the Canspool as it has the sharp spine that I can use with a fire starter. Yeah, I think maintenance free.
I brought mine.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 106. I use it for everything almost. Once you start learning how to carve with a knife, this is super.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it's a carbon steel. It's a little bit grayish on the surface. I don't care, as long as it's sharp.
What kind of handle did you put on that?
Well, that's a normal birch handle. I just cut it a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's nothing different. But that's probably the ones that I like most.
Nice.
With an old sheet.
Yeah. What has been the best highlight during your time at Morakniv?
Oh wow. I couldn't point at anything special, but I mean there has been periods when the sales has been low and there has been high. So there are many different. And since I've been working with the industry knives quite a lot, I probably, when we started getting some traction on the sales for those, we had some traction last year. And that was funny.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably what I value the most.
I think when we bought the final part of Frost's knife factory in 2005. I think that was a big thing for my side of the family. But for the last couple of years, I would say, when Facebook started and we got this
The fan club.
fan club, and reached out to you and got in contact with you. I think that's what made the most impact on my mind.
Yeah.
It's very nice to have the contact with you out there and get the questions on Facebook and Messenger.
You get feedback and you get whipped sometimes.
Yeah. That was my last question. Do you have one left?
What knife would you say best represents Morakniv? Well, I guess it's that one, or the one that Thomas has on his chest.
Yeah. This is the classic number 2. There were originally about 10 different sizes, from the smallest up to
Number 5.
number 5. That is,
It's a
so
sword.
large I don't know what to use it for actually.
No, we had it as kids.
Yeah.
Chopping down
Yes.
birches.
But the number 2 suits my hand very nice. This is one of my favorites. Okay, folks, thank you for watching and celebrating our 130 years anniversary. That's all for today.
Thank you very much.